The fight for the White House is down to just a few states. I'm Michael George at the Biden campaign headquarters with both the Trump and Biden team strategies and when the final count could be complete.
A local expert gives some tips to deal with post-election grief. Authorities in Wisconsin arrest a suspect in the case of a Joplin teen who had been missing.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A senior administration official tells CBS News the president might not concede the election if Joe Biden declares victory. This is KOAM News at 5. The race for the White House now hinges on just a handful of states where the ballot counting continues. Reporter Michael George is in Wilmington, Delaware with more.
The vote count between former Vice President Joe Biden and President Trump in several uncalled states continues to narrow.
In America, the vote is sacred. Each ballot must be counted. And that's what we're going to see going through now.
In Georgia, the president holds the lead, while Biden leads in the western states of Arizona and Nevada.
We want to make sure that we're being accurate. The results in the state of Nevada obviously are going to be very important to the entire country, and that is our number one goal.
The Biden campaign says the vote count is only looking better and better for them. Meanwhile, on Twitter, President Trump demanded election officials stop the count and made allegations of voter fraud, which were flagged as misleading by Twitter. The Trump campaign has filed multiple legal challenges across several states, with the latest in Nevada.
We firmly believe that there are many voters in this group of mail-in people that are not proper voters.
We are not aware of any improper ballots that are being processed.
President Trump is celebrating a ruling in Pennsylvania, which allowed Trump campaign officials to observe the vote count.
We're not leaving till we witness every single vote that transpires in here.
But the Trump campaign's litigation strategy also hit setbacks Thursday. A Georgia court dismissed a lawsuit over absentee ballots. And in Michigan, a judge denied the Trump campaign's request to halt ballot counting. Michael George, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Both the Biden and Trump campaigns have mounted huge fundraising efforts online to help pay for legal challenges as the 2020 election count continues. CBS News has learned the president's son-in-law and advisor, Jared Kushner, is actively searching for a campaign legal spokesperson to spearhead its election litigation strategy. For a lot of people, the election has added more stress to an already stressful year. Experts say this isn't the first election they've seen stressed or even grieving people. Nathan Honeycutt with the Ozark Center's New Directions office says they saw it during both of President Obama's terms and when President Trump was first elected in 2016. However, Honeycutt says it hasn't been an issue this cycle yet.
To this point, because it's so left in the dark right now and nothing's really been decided, most people are hopeful that their candidate wins. And so once it's decided and somebody is declared a winner, that means someone's declared a loser. And at that point, having to deal with that ultimate decision is when most of that fallout comes to be.
We're going to hear more from Honeycutt with some tips on dealing with grief when it hits tonight at 6. Brings us to today's KOAM News Now Insta poll. The question today is, how much will the outcome of the presidential election affect your emotions? Your options are a lot, somewhat, or not at all. You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on them periodically through KOAM News at 5. We'll have the final results on KOAM News at 6. Doug Heddy joins us now with the first look at the weather. Doug.
Yeah, and it turned out to be another great day for us today. Plenty of sunshine across the region. Temperatures fantastic again. In fact, we have clear skies across really the entire Central Plains. Nothing going on. We don't have any storm systems on the horizon. Temperatures look great. Most of us are still sitting into lower 70s. 70 in Iola, 72 in Welch. We have 72 in Anderson. Carthage is sitting at 71 degrees. And the south winds kind of helping those temps warm up. South winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Through the evening hours, of course, we don't have much daylight left, just about 45 minutes, and then it's dark. We drop back through the 60s, 50s, mid-50s for lows for us tonight. Of course, we're going to look into the weekend and our next storm system here in a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. Authorities make an arrest after a missing Joplin teen is found safe in another state. Police in the city of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin say they've arrested a 19-year-old man in connection with the Leora Hardy case. 14-year-old Leora Hardy had been missing since September 17th. They say the 19-year-old man traveled to Joplin in September to pick up Hardy, then drove back to Wisconsin. Charges against the 19-year-old could be filed soon. Hardy was brought back to Joplin and reunited with her family on Tuesday. The Joplin chapter of the RISE Coalition paid for her plane ticket back.
When it was brought to our attention that there was a young girl that really had been found and needed to be reunited with her family, we offered to expedite that facilitation to get that child reunited with safe family members.
Joplin police would not comment on the arrest. We reached out to police in Wisconsin, but have not heard back from them. We're going to hear more about that case tonight at 6. Still ahead, a rise in cyberbullying.
The pandemic has kids on their devices more than ever, and many say they are experiencing cyberbullying. I'm Minty Chen with tips on how parents can keep their children safe.
And next in Health Watch, a look at coronavirus cases around the country as the U.S. hits another milestone for new cases in a day. A massive operation is underway in Denmark to put down millions of minks because of COVID concerns. Officials say a coronavirus mutation has been found in minks, which can spread to people. The country's prime minister says the mutated virus could interfere with the effectiveness of a future vaccine. In the U.S., 1,200 minks died last month from the disease in farms in Utah and Wisconsin. A new review shows almost 20% of COVID-19 patients may have only gastrointestinal symptoms. Those symptoms can include nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, diarrhea, and pain. Researchers say radiologists doing abdominal scans should be vigilant during the pandemic. The U.S. set another record for coronavirus cases, more than 100,000 in a single day. And for the second day in a row, more than 1,000 deaths were reported yesterday. New infections are increasing in nearly every state, with hospitals in some areas reaching a breaking point. Reporter Elise Preston has more.
Coronavirus cases in El Paso, Texas are skyrocketing. One health official says hospitals are near a breaking point, with more than 1,000 COVID-19 hospitalizations reported Wednesday.
It's just important for this community to understand that what we're doing is failing.
The state has sent nurses and medical beds to El Paso, and the convention center has become a field hospital. New infections are increasing in nearly every state, and more than 1,000 deaths were reported Wednesday for the second straight day. Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious diseases doctor at Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
We can reverse the trend if we wear masks, observe social distancing, and avoid large group events. Do good hand hygiene.
Here in New York, the city is again using its hyper-local approach, sending new testing, contact tracing, and outreach into affected neighborhoods.
That approach worked, and that approach is what we will employ anytime we see a problem going forward.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey extended her statewide mask mandate through December 11th.
Sooner rather than later, it's going to be up to each of us to do the right thing.
Ohio nurse practitioner Tamu Brown was diagnosed this week.
If I'm being honest, I got a little comfortable. You know, we're 8 months in, and I think that I was kind of a little more comfortable visiting people, doing things.
Experts say it's important to fight pandemic fatigue, especially heading into the winter months. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
In the NFL, the Houston Texans closed their facility after one player tested positive. But the San Francisco 49ers are proceeding with tonight's game against Green Bay despite a positive test in their ranks. Every month cancer treatment is delayed can increase a person's risk of death by around 10%. Canadian and UK researchers looked at the impact of delaying treatment such as surgery, chemotherapy, or radiotherapy for 7 types of cancer. They say understanding this is critical since some treatments are being postponed for patients during the pandemic. We're going to check back with our KOAM News Now Instapoll. Again, our question today is how much will the outcome of the presidential election affect your emotions? At this point, most say a a lot. 27% say somewhat. 15% say not at all. You can join in the conversation by voting at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. We'll check back in a bit. A little bit later, how parents can protect their kids from a rise in cyberbullying during the pandemic.
Plus, a nice temperature stick around, but what about rain chances? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be another great day for us today. Nice, long, about a week stretch that we've had dry conditions and in general, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures just about perfect anytime you're in the 70s. Doesn't get much better than that. We were mid to upper 70s yesterday. We dropped back lower 50s. And then again, for us today, most of us 75, 76, 77 degrees for afternoon highs. Temps still look pretty good. Fort Scott 71, 72 in Miami. Carthage is sitting at 71. Neodesha also at 71 degrees. And we aren't alone. The entire Central Plains, very comfortable fall-like conditions. No big storm systems. So it looks pretty good as we head into Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday. And then we'll start to see a few changes. Light south winds kind of keeping those temperatures up at about 5 to 10. Will stick around for us tonight. It's 5:16, of course. It's already getting dark, which kind of stinks. We're looking off toward the east from our station. Sitting at 71 west, southwesterly winds at about 5. Humidity is at 51%. Through the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 60s, 50s. I think most of us are going to bottom out at about 55 a little bit later on tonight. But clear skies, nothing is going on here. In fact, the entire Central Plains look pretty good. The clouds we had yesterday are well off toward the east. We can go up into the Pacific Northwest and you can see the beginnings of our next storm system. This is the one that will start to affect us early next week. Plus, we can drop south. We have Ada, which has been spinning in the southern parts of the Caribbean as it is projected to lift north over the next few days. Some of that tropical moisture could kind of evac north into our next storm system, giving us a little bit better chances for rain. All right, tonight's going to be fine. South winds. Few little clouds out there, so let's call it partly cloudy skies. Let's go into Friday. Looks great again. Mostly sunny skies. I think most of us will go up into the 70s. 4 highs again. We'll start at 54. 70 by noon. High temp of 76. We're going to have those south winds at about 5 to 10. Any high school football tomorrow evening? Looks fine. Let's go into the evening hours. We'll stop at about 8 o'clock. You can see we'll have lower 60s, so we'll be in the 60s through most of the games and then eventually drop into the upper 50s. And then tomorrow night, clear skies, south winds continue as we drop back into the mid 50s. Let's go into the weekend. Still plenty of sunshine. Temperatures right back up into low to mid 70s for a high. So the entire weekend is shaping up pretty good until our next storm system will start to roll in. Let's go into Sunday and then Monday, late Sunday. I think we'll have the south winds. Looks pretty good. Monday, we'll start to get at least chances for some showers. Let's go into Tuesday. Better chances for rain as this system slips through. We get a break on Wednesday. Then another system dives in by Thursday into Friday, giving us also chances for rain. So our pattern will pick up a little bit by next week. 76 tomorrow, 72 Saturday, 75 on Sunday. Slight chance for a shower late. Better chances for rain on Monday and Tuesday. Cooling back down just a little bit Tuesday and Wednesday, and then rain chances again by next Thursday. So by next week, it'll be time for us to get a little bit of rain.
Yeah, we're drying out a bit after the rains we had last week.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Todd. Still ahead, the latest numbers on unemployment benefits. First, though, we recognize a local veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. Carthage native Gary Welch served in Iraq beginning in 2015. Lieutenant Corporal Gary Welch, a 4-state hero. Multiple states voted on measures that could affect their local economies. Voters in 4 states approved measures legalizing recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older, and medical marijuana won approval in Mississippi. In Florida, the state minimum wage will gradually increase to $15 an hour by 2026. And in California, voters rejected an initiative to make Uber and Lyft drivers employees who receive benefits instead of independent contractors. Another 751,000 Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. According to the Labor Department, that was more than expected. And more than 362,000 people filed for pandemic-related unemployment assistance. 350,000 Ford Explorers are under recall. Select vehicles from 2013 to 2017 have problems with the rear suspension that can limit steering control. The problem has led to at least 13 reported accidents and 6 injuries. Earlier this year, Ford recalled the 2020 Explorer and other cars due to an electrical malfunction with the rear view camera. The pandemic has turned school into a virtual experience for millions of our kids, but researchers say cyberbullying is still happening, and it's not just among teenagers. Nancy Chen explains.
COVID forced students at this North Carolina school to take classes at home. Sheilyn White says that's when remote learning became a lesson in cyberbullying for her son, Jalen.
Once he started logging into Zoom for his classes, we started to receive messages.
Someone apparently hacked the 6th grader's computer and sent messages like, "I will find and kill Jalen."
He can't understand why somebody would want to bully him, and he really doesn't understand why somebody would want to kill him.
New research finds more than 14% of tweens 9 to 12 years old have experienced cyberbullying.
It affected their feelings about themselves. It affected their friendships.
Professor Justin Patchen with the Cyberbullying Research Center says it's not clear if online bullying is increasing now that kids are spending more time on devices. But another study did find a 70% increase in hate speech when the pandemic started between teenagers during online chats.
The vast majority of kids who are cyberbullied are also being bullied at school.
Patchen says it's important to make sure kids can protect themselves.
Work with them to understand the tools that the app or the game or the site have to kind of thwart online abuse. So do they know how to block somebody? Do they know how to report somebody?
He says it's also important for kids to feel comfortable enough to talk to their parents about cyberbullying when they experience it. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Cruises are canceled through at least the end of the year. Carnival joined Norwegian and Royal Caribbean in canceling cruises for the remainder of 2020 due to new guidelines tied to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention lifted its no-sail order last Friday, provided certain safety protocols were in place. A final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, Pittsburgh city officials meet with business leaders to discuss safe practices during the holidays. Plus, Spire is offering 2 new financial assistance options for Missouri customers who've been struggling because of the pandemic. And we're going to hear from Pitt State's head football coach as the Gorillas aim for their first win this weekend against St. Joe. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Let's get another look at our KOAM News Now Insta poll. We've been asking, how much will the outcome of the presidential election affect your emotions? At this point, 63% say a lot, 21% say somewhat, 16% say not at all. You still have time to vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. We're going to have the final results on this poll on KOAM News at 6. A Rubik's Cube artist has created a 6,000-piece mosaic in under 16 hours, the largest Rubik's Cube mosaic ever made in this time. The 26-year-old Italian artist created the artwork to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the logic puzzle. The mosaic measures roughly 18 feet by 12 feet and depicts the Greek god Atlas holding a giant Rubik's Cube. Of course. You can solve those, right?
I can, in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
I cannot.
You got to know the algorithm.
Okay, I guess.
All right, it looks pretty good for us the next couple days. 76 for us tomorrow, 72 on Saturday, 75 on Sunday. Rain chances sneak in early next week.
See you at 6. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.